Let me hear you say Crux, yeah! Crux, yeah! Let me hear you say Crux, yeah! Crux, yeah! Crux, yeah podcast.
Crux Crawford.
Crux, yeah podcast, back with you another week. I am Crux Crawford, as you already know, and I thank you for tuning back in with me for another week. First episode that's in the month of October, which, as you know, is my favorite month, which has my favorite holiday, Halloween, in it. So everything's cool, man. I'm getting the studio set up here so I can do guests and visuals. Said I was going to have a guest last week, but I have to push that back. So I will have guests starting next week if everything goes as planned. I got everything set up. It's very cool. Got some shelves in here. The wife helped me set up some shelves yesterday so I can have some background shit going on for when I have, I got to go and get a table and chairs this week. But yeah, man, I'm going to have a full-blown podcast studio set up here with everything ready to go, finally, months in the making. So I can finally go ahead and do that whole deal, which will be cool. And yeah, man, it's going to be fun. Yeah, dude. This week, my main thing is dealing with, I don't know. I'm glad that I've gotten a little bit more mature and a little bit older to the point where I can let people kind of get away with getting the attitudes that they need to get checked. Because in my opinion, when I was a lot younger, I feel like whenever people would have an attitude when I was doing something with them or working with them or whatever, or dealing with them in any kind of public setting, I would check them on it. I would call them out on it. If someone's being rude, I'd be like, hey man, you need to watch how you're fucking talking to me. It takes me a lot longer to get to that zone now than it used to. Sometimes I'll recognize that people are kind of, talking out of turn a little bit or getting a little bit of an unnecessary attitude with me. I usually let the stuff fast food and drive-thrus and stuff, whenever I'm eating somewhere or something, I let that go because that job's hard, and I get and also I don't want my food to get spit in. So, I usually let those people just have the bad day that they're having because I don't blame them for having it. But just in any other situation, dealing with my day job and people that I got to talk to, it's just, man, sometimes people really do deserve to get called out for their attitudes, but I just try to keep it. I just kind of try to move on. I've gotten a lot better at that over time than I used to. I used to not be able to let it escape me. I used to think that everybody needs to be called on their shit. Because sometimes when I've been in that zone and I've been the asshole with the attitude, I've been called out on my shit before, and it's actually helped me. It's actually been a benefit to me because it kind of put me in check. That hasn't happened for a long time, but the times that it has happened in my adult life, it's helped me a lot. So I feel like, frankly, I'm doing people a disservice by not getting in their face and telling them to calm the fuck down. I don't know, man. But yeah, man, there's been a lot of that this week. I don't know if it's this time of year or what, man. But they say that you can look statistically. I never researched this myself, but I've heard from some pretty credible sources and people that you can supposedly look at data for crime, people committing crimes and acts of violence and assault and stuff, and it directly correlates with the higher the temperature is outside. The hotter outside it is, the more acts of violence and disorder that you have. And I don't know if that's true. Maybe it's got to do with that. I have no idea, man. It's been cooling down here, so that doesn't even really make any fucking sense for the point I was trying to make. But either way, that's really interesting. The hotter it gets, the more violent. And I get it. You know what I mean? It makes sense. The more irritable you are, the more frustrated you are, etc. Because when it's really cold outside, you just you're just too busy shivering up, too busy trying to make yourself warm. I don't know. But But yeah, man, there's been some fucking attitudes I've had to overcome this week, dealing with stuff. And, hey, it is what it is. I've been there myself, but there's just been an extra helping of it, it feels like, this past last week. So I've been practicing some patience, practicing some tolerance, which is not my natural go-to, man. I've had to work on that. So the fact that I can have that is evidence that that the work I've been doing on it over time has worked out, Not perfect, never will be, but I'm a lot better than I used to be. And anybody that's known me from back in the day can attest to that. I think anybody that was sitting here with me right now would agree that I've gotten a lot more patient and a lot more tolerant. So good for me is my point. Yeah, worked on a bunch of, worked on some new jokes this last week. Kept, it was kind of hit or miss, but then I also defaulted on some of my old stuff. Well, not old, fucking been only doing this a few months, but, I've also defaulted to some of the stuff that I knew worked, cause I performed at, Backdoor for the first time this week, which is awesome. That was great. It was a great open mic. It was a great place to perform. You get 3 minutes and it has to be clean. So, no sex, no illicit drug use, no profanity. So it's cool because it challenges you, because you really have to write some jokes that are just, they're just going to be jokes in their purest form. They're going to be family friendly, which is great, which is most of the stuff that I've been coming out with anyway. So that was really cool. I got to perform that, but because it was my first time there and they always have a really good crowd, which was great. I did really well, but I did all the stuff I already know that works, just because I was like, man, it's my first time here. I don't want to bomb. I don't want to come off as whatever, so I was really concerned about that. So I gave into the pressure and just performed stuff that I knew worked. Did really well. Got some nice laughs, had a really good set. A couple other comics I know were there. So that was cool. Definitely going to go back there again. It's a great place. Great place. Glad I finally made it out there. Going to make a regular journey out there. But yeah, other than that, just had kind of put up extra more Halloween decorations at the house with the family. And just kind of stayed in, man. Didn't really do much, didn't go anywhere other than just going out to the front yard. Had plans to go there, just made a couple trips to the store. Nothing crazy interesting. Had to drive that Thursday, when I went to Backdoor for the first time. I come back and I do this other open mic at Hyenas Fort Worth on my way home. It was storming. It was really crazy. It was, interesting to drive in that stuff. I'm not used to it, having driven, in LA forever. Actually driving in real weather is so rare. You know what I mean? So driving through a thunderstorm with heavy rain on the freeway is interesting because you have to learn how to navigate that and adjust to it. So that was interesting. But yeah, man, crazy stuff going on. There was a story about, God, this is so insane, man. This guy, let me look up his name because I can't fucking remember it for the life of me right now. This is an attorney that's been working most of his career defending, defending the environment and human rights and stuff. Let me look up his name here because I'm just going to be fucking talking out of my ass the whole time if I don't. There we go. Here we go. All right, Steven Donziger. That's his name, Steven Donziger. This guy, one of the biggest, headline makers that he's done is he had a $3.4 billion judgment placed against Chevron for polluting waters in the areas of indigenous people. He, let me see here. Where was that? Please hold. That was, trying to see what country that was in. Or what, I think it was South America, Central America. Anyway, it's a big deal. He's devoted his whole legal career as an attorney to defending, basically defending, doing the right thing. You know what I mean? And he obviously, Chevron's a huge corporation, and 3.4. Hold on a second. No, his settlement was in the billions. I'm looking at the wrong fucking article. Okay, he helped with a 9.5 billion, judgment for rainforest cleanup. So, we're talking South America. He, Central South America, one of those fucking Americas. It ain't the real America, I'll tell you that, because I'm sitting in that one right now, God damn it. No, but yeah, man, this guy has done the right thing, man. There's a lot of things you can do as an attorney. You can be a fucking scumbag if you want. You can be one of those attorneys that just sits there and plays the system and waits for one thing to mess up technically at a company or a person to do something, and that's your specialty, whether it's healthcare or whether it's business law or whatever, and you just milk things and maximize your, money. And hey, it is what it is. I get it. We all have to make a living out there. Law school is not cheap, and if you're in it to make money, you're in it to make money. Nothing wrong with that. I don't think so. But still, out of all of the choices you can make as a lawyer, this guy chose to take a hard fucking road and go after people that don't want to be gone after, that have deep pockets, that do the wrong thing repeatedly. And he's standing up for the little guy. You know what I mean? Like, this is the definition. Like, people that have no recourse for a huge multinational corporation that's going to come in and start fucking your water supplies up, with the pollutants and the byproducts of what they produce. They're already there in the first place, so they can get cheap labor and cheap rent, cheap leases that cost a fraction of what they would here if they employed Americans and they were on American soil. So they're already there to play the system and cut everything cheap anyway. And on top of that, they're polluting these people's waters and fucking it up. So, he went after him, which isn't easy. And I'm sure it was a long, drawn-out legal process, because everything is a long, drawn-out legal process with the legal system. It's a fucking joke. If you've ever taken somebody to a small claims court, even over $2, it takes a year to resolve, and 3 different court dates most of the time, if people know how to play the game and milk the system. It's ridiculous. So the fact that this guy's standing up for the little guy and went through all this, and he fucking got him. You know what I mean? He caught them doing the wrong thing, proved it in a court of law, got a giant judgment on behalf of, these people, whether it's indigenous people, if they were here, if they were there, I don't care. The point is, these people that were wronged, he stood up for them and stood up to the big guy and got something out of it for them on their behalf. And they went after him. They played the games, they pulled strings, they, used gray areas to fucking put this guy ultimately in jail. He was sentenced. Let me see. He was sentenced to 6 months. I don't know if it's house arrest or if he actually is doing jail time. But either way, this is not like somebody who broke into someone's house. This isn't someone who killed somebody. This isn't someone who stole, from a corporation, from their job or something, or stole a car. This is a lawyer. This is a professional attorney that stood up for the right thing, that did the right thing, and stood up against a big multinational corporation. He soaked them for a shitload of money, which obviously pissed him off. So then they spent tons of time and money to make a point out of spite and get him and get revenge on him, for the lies that he exposed. So it's fucked up. He's been fighting it for over a year. He's been on house arrest and stuff like that, if you didn't know about this. And then last Friday, either last Thursday or Friday, he was sentenced to 6 months, man. You know what I mean? So they manipulated judges, they manipulated court systems, and using their ties and business relationships, Chevron, using the relationships they had to put this guy to persecute this, to prosecute this, whatever the fuck, to prosecute Steven Donziger, man, to put this guy in jail, this guy who stands up for the right thing. It's fucked up. That's sad, and that's unfortunate, dude. You know what I mean? So don't go to fucking Chevron. Don't fill up your tank at Chevron. Fuck them, Okay. I don't know. It all boils down to the same shit anyway. Who knows what shitty deeds the other fucking company, Shell and all these motherfuckers are doing anyway. Can't escape it. There's no good guys. But still, man, that's a shame to hear. And I really hope there's some kind of resolution of this. I hope that there's something good that comes up in appeals. If he goes through with an appeals process, or if he can, I'm not sure at this stage how that works. But man, that's really unfortunate to hear. A guy that does the right thing just gets soaked, and they use gray areas in the legal system to be able to go after him, man. And I don't see how that makes any sense when you got, Great Recession. You got these people that bankrupted the country legitimately. These bankers, and they went like, whoops. Everybody like, hey, where's the money? How did you mess up the economy this bad? Where did you misappropriate it all? They're like, well, we don't know. We weren't paying attention. You live and learn. And it's like, yeah, whatever. A couple guys got jail time. I understand that. You know what I mean? Bernie Madoff was the poster boy, and then a couple other guys that aren't as famous and notorious as him got some jail time too. But my point is, those guys bankrupted the country and pocketed and misspent billions of dollars, trillions of dollars probably, in people's retirement, all this stuff. And some guys got light jail time sentences in white-collar prisons, and the rest went free. And meanwhile, this guy's an attorney that's standing up for the little guy, and he's going to prison. So the difference is those guys fucked up and did things majorly wrong, right? And they got very light sentences. This guy did nothing wrong. In fact, he did everything right. He did right, not wrong. And he's going to jail. It's just crazy to me. It's absolutely mind-boggling. I know this isn't the only case, too. This is just what I'm hearing about. And I know things like this happen all the time. But this is the one that I'm most aware of and saw a story on, which is why I'm talking about it. But, yeah, wow. What a crazy experience, man. My heart goes out to his family and everything they're probably going through right now. But, yeah, dude. These stories, certain things, I'll tell you, certain things that I have a perspective on definitely changed, and I started to care about certain things a lot more now that I'm a parent. Before I was a parent, I didn't care about, like Afghanistan, for example. You hear about these families, that just get taken out by drone strikes, basically on accident, And it's like, before I was like, oh, that's terrible. I never was like cheering that on, obviously, but I was like, oh, that's terrible. And now it's like you hear like a family, the part of that family was children. Children got killed, and you just think about your child or your own children. Anybody listening out there as a parent can relate. It just makes you that much more concerned and feel for people that much more when you hear about horrible things like that happening, because it's like, man, you immediately think of your kids and you identify that with theirs, and it makes me that much more, it makes me care that much more, like being a parent makes me think about things a lot deeper, especially when children are involved. Surprise, surprise. It's like, no shit, buddy, you had kids and now you're thinking about them more. Wow. Insightful. Call my mind blown. Oh, man, I don't know, dude. It's been a lot of fun, though, figuring stuff out and getting timing on stage, getting the timing down. That's what's cool about telling jokes that work over and over. I'm learning is that you get better with your timing on it, and you're able to control the audience, man. If you got your stuff down and you get them to tune into you. I'm getting small tastes and tidbits of that now. When I'm telling jokes on stage, I'm starting to get it. Once again, I'm not doing like a 20-minute or a 40-minute set. That's so far down the road for me. You know what I mean? But still, I'm getting a taste of the stuff that works. And when I tell the stuff that works, the jokes that work, I'm getting a taste of what it's like to have that audience in the palm of your hand, even if it's for just a couple minutes. So I can only imagine what it's like to do that for 20 or 40 or an hour. That's just got to be insane. You know what I mean? And it's cool. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of adrenaline. Produces a lot of adrenaline, a lot of good dopamines coming from that, man. A lot of good dopamines coming from that, man. yeah, dude. Otherwise, I love how it's cooling down. I love the fall. I got to go check out the Texas State Fair because that's going on right now. That's supposed to be really cool. They have fried, supposedly, everybody that's from like Dallas, Fort Worth area is going to know this already, but supposedly they got fried Coca-Cola, which I've never had or seen in my life, so I definitely got to go check that out. Fried Coca-Cola, man. I don't know how they do it. I don't know what it looks like. You know, I got to check it out in person firsthand. Yeah, it's fucking cool. We just had, I think this happened last week. I can't remember and I haven't listened, but we got 2 tracks in the millions now for We Are the Flesh on the We Are the Flesh front of things. So that's cool. 2 tracks in the million on Spotify. So if I haven't said it, I think I did already, but if I haven't, thank you again for that. Everybody who is a fan of We Are the Flesh or listeners, because that is fucking cool. Sit there and have 2 and then another one on the way. Thank you again for that. Even if I said it before, it deserves 2 weeks of thanks because that's a big deal. You know, it's not a small deal by any means. Yeah, man, it's been cool just working on some new stuff on the music side of things. Just working on stuff constantly, you know, because we put 1 new track out a month. Excited for the Halloween song to come out October 15th. Everywhere. Just in time for the Halloween season. I'm going to be interested to see if it gets put on any Halloween playlist because it's a clean song. It's non-explicit. So that's cool. So you could throw it on any Halloween playlist, man. Our Halloween song we have coming out, you could put it on any modern Halloween. Like if you want to listen to only old school stuff like He Did That Mac, like the Monster Mash and all that shit, I get it. You know, all that stuff's classic. But if you're tired of that, only that stuff, and you have a Halloween party or a Halloween get-together, you're just in the Halloween spirit and you want to hear a Halloween playlist, this song would be perfect for it. So I hope they put it on at least 1, if not more, Halloween playlists because it would be great. It's a nice little modern twist on it. And yeah, it was cool. It was on recommendation and we try to make like the Halloween song or a song dedicated to Halloween. So we're really excited about it. I don't know. It's a little bit, I don't want to say like happy, but it's a little bit more tame than the stuff that we usually do with We Are the Flesh, but you know, it's cool still. We like it. You know, we like it, and if you don't, fuck off. We liked it, so we did it this way, and we put it out. So yeah, that's cool. You know, check that out. Coming out relatively soon, just a couple weeks from now. The days are just melting away. I can't believe it. Yeah, dude. Kids getting bigger, starting to say gibberish, you know, starting to say a bunch of different words. I don't know if they're the right words for the right things, but he's talking a lot, and that's cool. It's interesting to see it. It's crazy, you know. You go from being like a little ball to like talking and stuff, and next thing you know, he's going to be moving out of the house next week. That's what everybody says, like just enjoy it, which I'm trying to do because I do understand that and I do believe it, you know. I've lived enough life to the point where I can see that that is very true, and I can feel time speeding up, man. I can definitely feel it starting to speed up. Like a day or a month or even a year feels way faster to me than it did 10 years ago. Hands down. No debate, man. I can definitely feel that. So I'm trying to enjoy it. I'm trying to take in the moments as much as I can and be there, which is cool. That's why I just take a break from whatever I'm doing throughout the day as much as I can during the week. And I just stop and I realize like, hey man, I got to go hang out with my wife. Got to go hang out with the baby. Got to go throw him around a little bit, you know, and just enjoy, because that stuff's not going to last forever, man. No one. Time waits for no one, dude. Like everybody gets older faster. So in this case, I'm talking about, you know, my kid, you know, he's a baby, just graduated. You could argue he's either a baby or a toddler at this point. He's kind of in that middle ground, you know, just turned a year old, on the brink of walking, on the brink of talking. And it's not going to be like that forever, man. Tomorrow he's going to be just full blown. He's going to be 7 years old. He's going to be, you know, walking, talking, doing everything completely self-sufficient. And time goes by, dude. You know, it's not going to last forever. You got to enjoy those things. And youth doesn't last forever either, man. You know, I'm getting my first little taste of that. And you have to remember, it's so hard to hear too, you know, because when you are, you know, when you start to be a young adult, you know, when you're 16, 17, 18, 19, whatever, and people say like, oh yeah, just wait till you're 28 or you're 38 or 48. You think like, Dad, I don't even know if I'm going to live that long, let alone, that's a million years from now. No, it's not. No, it's not. That is going to fly by, dude, and you're not going to be young forever. And everybody does get older. It's like you turn around and you go, holy shit, I'm X amount of years old now. Like, that's crazy. It sneaks up on you, and you'll kind of come to and realize like, oh my God, what have I been doing all this time? And then you think back, yeah, well, I did this, and then I got involved with that, and then I did this for a while, and then I got that, and I accomplished this, and I accomplished that. But sometimes your brain just goes like, hey, what are you doing? What have you been doing? Where have you? Where are you? We were 22 yesterday. We were 19 yesterday. We were 15. Where you been? It's weird. And then you go like, where have I been? Fuck. And then you sit back and you go, oh, no, never mind. Like, I've done this and this and this and this. Okay, cool. It's just weird how your brain forgets that stuff. Like certain parts of your brain forget it and just go like, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? Or you sit back and you're like, yeah, man, that's cool. Dude, I still have thoughts of like that are crazy unrealistic, that are just completely ridiculous. Like I'll see like a college sports team, like a college football or basketball team or whatever. And I think to myself like, yeah, maybe I'll try out next year. It's like, dude, you're in your 30s, bro. Like that shit. For one, you graduated college years and years and years ago. And then two, no, you're not going to try out as a 30-something-year-old man for like, things that are like 19-year-olds are running circuit. Like that ship has sailed. So it's weird because I'm getting my first tastes of the ship has sailed for stuff. Like when you hit your 20s, things that are for like high school teens, obviously you're too old for that stuff. And you think about that passing you, that's kind of your first little taste of that. But then when you get, 25 and then you get older, you really start to realize like, oh shit, no, legitimately, like I am too old to do X, Y, Z. Like I'm too old to pursue professional sports now or college sports. I'm too old to, do this or do that. It's like, it's crazy. Some stuff you're never too old to do, right? You're never too old to go back to school for something in theory. You're never too old to change careers in theory. You're supposedly never too old to start stand-up comedy or what have you, But there's certain things that hands down you are too fucking old to do, So certain things happen where I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I'll do that this year. Maybe that'll be the time that I do it. And it's like, no, dude, no. That not only can you not do that now, but you haven't been able to do that shit for years. It's so weird. And then in your brain, you're like, oh my God, dude, that's true. Fuck. And then you just kind of roll with it. You just kind of accept it. And you realize your new role. You realize the new bracket of life that you're in. And it's kind of interesting when you do it. I'm learning that. Like I said, I'm adjusting to it. And I don't know. It's fine. I don't care. I'm not like, oh no. I've done some pretty decent shit in my life so far. And I'm still doing the things I like. So I don't have regrets in that sense, and I'm totally fine with where I am, But it is a little off-putting when you think about it in perspective and when you remember where you're at versus where you've been. But the positive part of that is I have so much more life experience now, that I did 10 years ago. Oh, no shit. You lived 10 years more and you got more life experience. Tell us other amazing facts. No, but seriously though, I have more insight and I have more to offer. I feel like when I have a conversation with somebody, I used to wonder, man, because I remember being like, 18, 20, and I remember like trying to talk about things, and I realized I was just acting like I knew everything, and I was coming off like a fucking, young, cocky, know-it-all kid to people. But when you are a young, cocky, know-it-all kid, and you're in that stage of life, and you're projecting that, you don't realize that's what you are. Because you think you're old already. You think you're like a full-on man and you got all this experience because you're not 15 anymore. But you don't realize how fucking young you are and how inexperienced you are still. So I would talk to people like that I work, like had a job with, or that I went to school with that were older than me, or in any social situation that with people that were older. And they would just give me these looks like, dude, like not taking me seriously at all, or like, downplaying me or whatever. And I used to wonder, like, man, why are these people fucking hating on me? Why are these people so against me? And now I understand that, because I'll see a kid, that is like, 19 or 20 or whatever. And they'll have that attitude. They'll have the like, yeah, I got this. Yeah, I'm fucking, I know everything. Yeah, I'm the man. And you realize like, oh, yeah, I've been there. I've seen that. That's the stage of life this guy is in right now. That's the stage, or girl, that's the stage of life this person is in. I think guys do it a little bit more than women do, because I firmly believe that women mature way faster than men do, or girls than guys on average. I think, the average 30-year-old man has the same maturity level as like a 20-year-old girl on average. There's always exceptions to that rule, but I think generally speaking, that's how it goes. So, but yeah, I'll see that and I'll be like, that was me. That's why these people looked at me like I was an idiot. It's not because they hated me personally. It was nothing personal. It was just who I was to them. I represented this fucking cocky kid that didn't know what the hell was, he didn't know, his ass from his elbow. You know what I mean? And I see that now and I'm like, yeah, that guy doesn't know his ass from his elbow. I get it. I was that way. So I look at it from an understanding point of view, and I understand, because I get looked at like that so less often now. It happens so rarely now. And I wonder, I'm like, oh yeah, everybody likes me now. It's like, no, dude, you're just older and wiser. Like, you have some more experience. People can tell that you're a full-on man. They can tell that you have been around a couple blocks. You know what I mean? In terms of just life experience, I'm not talking about being a badass. I'm just talking about you've done some stuff. You've paid some bills. You've developed some careers. You've gained some experience out there in the world, and that's cool. That feels good. That's worth the whole perspective of, oh yeah, I'm too old to do X, Y, Z now because I have this experience in place of it. So that's why I'm totally cool with it. And I'll recognize that. I'll have moments like that where I realize, man, I'm not that fucking cocky little kid anymore. Now, I'm sure when I'm 45 or when I'm 55, if I make it there, God willing, that I'll look back and I'll see some, 30-something guy, and I'll be like, yeah, that fucking cocky young asshole. He's back in his 30s. I remember when I was like that, so you can always give speeches to people that are brackets of years younger than you, and I'm sure the 70-year-old guy is giving a speech to that 50-something-year-old guy, You just don't realize what you sound like when you're in that moment. But when you're out of it, you can hear it, So that's interesting, man. That's my piece of wisdom for this week as you go out in the world. Nah, man, it's going to be exciting, though. I got everything together. It took a week longer than I thought, but I'm okay with that because I got my stuff set up. I can get in the studio set up slowly but surely here at Crux Manor. And yeah, dude, it's going to be fun. We're going to start having guests. We're going to go back to video. We're going to keep this momentum going, keep building Crux Nation, which I appreciate that y'all are on this ride with me on. That you are all on this ride that you're with me on. That was a great sentence. I'm really glad that you're on this ride that you're on and you're with me on. I can't even fucking talk. I'm such an idiot. So, yeah, man, we are going to keep going. I thank you for listening once again. And we will be back next week, hopefully in full force for the weeks going forward after that, man. As we push forward into this, dude, it's exciting. I started comedy in the summer. Now we're switching. We're moving into fall. This reminds me, and I've said this before, and it's not going to be the last fucking time I say it, I'm sure. But this vividly reminds me of when I got sober, man. When I got sober and I was in Alcoholics Anonymous getting sober for the first time way back in the day, brand new. I also got sober in the summertime, just like when I started comedy in the summertime. Different month, but same season. And I remember people talking about, yeah, you got to stick around. And, I was brand new, getting a couple weeks sober, then 30 days, then 60 days, then 90 days sober. And, you build it slowly. You're new until you're not new anymore, right? And now I've been in AA for fucking, teens of years, forever. 2004 is an old ass year to have gotten sober now. That's out of date. That's way back when. That's old now for the average person, especially if you're young in your 20s or 30s and getting sober. Saying you got sober in 2004 is old. Like, that's a long time ago. I was really young when I did it, but it's still a long fucking time ago. But I remember when it wasn't. I remember when that was brand new. I remember when barely getting sober in 2004 was you were a newbie. You were brand new. You were fresh out of the bag. You were toxic as fuck, And that's the same thing I'm going through with comedy right now, because I remember being sober in the summer and getting, 30, 60, 90 days. And I remember summer turning to fall and the days getting shorter and it getting cold outside, and then going through my first holiday season sober, getting through that and coming out of it and going into spring. And my point is, the time goes on and you start to see people come and go as you gain experience and you stick around getting involved with something and committing to it and doing it. And now I'm starting to see that in the short time that I've been doing comedy. Summer is turning to fall. People are starting, the veterans in the comedy world and the comedy scene here are starting to kind of go, maybe this guy isn't a fly-by-night. Maybe he's not going to be one of the here today, gone tomorrow people. Maybe this guy's in it for the long haul kind of thing, which happened in AA as well. And I'm seeing that slowly happen now. So it's very interesting. And I'm enjoying the journey, and I'm going to keep it going. And I hope that you all will stay with me through it, because I love having you here. I see you listening. I see the downloads, and I greatly appreciate it. I don't know what that first thing I said was. I greatly appreciate it. But hopefully I'll be able to talk over time. I appreciate your patience while I'm learning the English language. But nah, man, I love all of you guys out there. Crux Nation. Crux, yeah, let's keep building it, baby. Have a good week, and I will talk to you next week. Full force. Crux, yeah.
Let me hear you say Crux, yeah. Crux, yeah. Let me hear you say Crux, yeah. Crux, yeah. Crux, yeah podcast.
Crux Crawford.
You a clout chasing fake and ass industry dick swallow.